you think about this NBA Finals matchup between the Mavericks and Celtics?
It's lit. It's lit. Porzingis gets to play against his former team. Kyrie Irving gets to play against his former team. You got two star-studded, individuals that people have been saying it's time for them to get that with that first ring in Jason Tatum and Luka Doncic. I think they're both top 10 players on pretty much anybody's list. So right now is a chance for those two gentlemen to take that next leap. Jalen Brown, he just came off the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Is he going to elevate his team as well? The Boston Celtics, a rivalry, I say rivalry, but a storied franchise. And then when you think about the Dallas Mavericks, they haven't won a championship since Dirk Nowitzki and Jason Kidd. And Jason Kidd is the coach of the Mavericks. So this is gonna be exciting, man. I'm real excited about these NBA finals. I think this is a good one right here. We have a good one in store.
um, so Boston has been the favorites. I think they were everybody's pick going into the season, and they definitely have showed it. Not just from this season. Hold on. I'm gonna bring somebody up right now. He about to
Oh,
pull up, man.
oh, here you go. Hey.
Yes, sir, man. So before I go, Mr. Box Office, Yvonne, man, what you think about this NBA Finals matchup that we got with the Celtics and Mavs?
So, thanks for having me on, y'all. This was actually last minute. Keo told me 5 minutes ago. I happen to be doing nothing, so I said, "Let's do it." Um, but first off, I want to say I'm very excited for this matchup. I think it's unpredictable. It's two different teams. Now, I think a lot of people had the Celtics in there because they felt like the Celtics were the best team all year. They got much deeper, adding Holiday and KP. Um, and they had the best record all year. Meanwhile, Dallas, we always knew they had potential with Kyrie and Luca. It was when is it gonna mesh and when is it gonna finally get going? And it did. Everything landed perfectly in front of them. They took advantage. Um, I also am a big fan of parity in sports. I don't like when it's always the best teams in there, the biggest franchises. Now the Celtics are one of the biggest and most popular, but they haven't won it since '08.
Yeah.
You know, Mavericks haven't won it since 2011. We're gonna get, I think it's gonna be a fifth straight different champion in the NBA for 5 straight years. I love that. I love parity. That's one thing I think the NFL does better than anybody. You know, you're the worst team in the league. You get the first pick. You're the Super Bowl champ. You get the last, and it forces these teams to have a balance and keep going all around the circle. So I love that the NBA's had some parity last couple years in the finals, and I think this is a great matchup. And I'm very excited. And I know for Game One, the Celtics are 6 point favorites, and they're going to be favorites in Vegas, but I don't think it's as clear cut as many people as Vegas thinks it is. I think this is in my opinion, when I'm thinking in my head who to pick, I think it's 50-50.
Okay.
Excited all around.
All right. Like I said with the Celtics, most people had them on there. I didn't expect the Dallas Mavericks to go there. Yeah, I had the Nuggets. Me too,
Yeah,
X.
look. I'm glad you brought that up. Let me tell you how Keo operates. Keo tries to take a shot at C, and for whatever reason, I get pulled into that, and I'm like, nobody had Dallas going to the finals when the season started, or even when the playoffs started. Not one person on our team had the Dallas Mavericks in the finals, and I get drugged because I picked Denver. You wild boy. You and every round I picked Dallas to win.
Yeah, you did. You did. This is a good matchup though between the Mavericks and the Celtics because you get two of the guys that you could possibly say, that could be the face between Jason Tatum and Luka Doncic. Both of these guys needs a title. And I think it's gonna be good for both of these guys, and it's gonna suck. One of them ain't gonna get a title, and then like X said it on this past week on the show, they're gonna go back and have to do it all over once again. So and I think nobody expect Dallas to get there, like you said, and a lot of people feel like the door may possibly be closing on Boston, but I don't think it's closing because you look at the East, it's not it's not like that though. Um, despite despite with Giannis being healthy and Dame being healthy, also, I know they're gonna come back strong. I'm not sure what Philadelphia is gonna do. Are they gonna get some type of help for Joel Embiid? I don't think Tyrese Maxey is enough to say, hey, we're gonna get to the NBA Finals or even win it. Um, and that goes the same thing for the rest of the teams. I'm hearing rumors about Jimmy Butler, where Zach Levine gonna go, and guys like that. So it's gonna be an interesting off season, including the draft also. But then the Kyrie, facing his old team also. Porzingis facing his old team also. So I think this is an interesting matchup, star power, and this is a finals that people gotta watch, man. And I think it's gonna be a competitive series, and I think it's gonna be one of the best finals that we may have seen in quite some time, in my opinion.
Big facts, big facts.
Um, when it comes to this matchup, who is there a sleeper that people need to pay attention to that we're not talking about as
I,
far as a player goes?
I think Kristaps Porzingis. I think I'm not gonna say like I know that he's not. He's obviously we're talking about him, but when you think about the top four players in this series, Porzingis is not a top four. You might put him at five, but Porzingis is not the top four players that we're talking about going into this series. Everybody's talking about the two duos. You're talking about Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, which rightfully so. Those should be the first four names that come out your mouth. But if you say looking back at it, when we look back at it when it's over with, that somebody's still a game. I think that Porzingis, especially with the chip on his shoulder, I watched the interview. I think box office somebody posted when he played with Dallas. Somebody posted in the group. I watched it,
I did.
and
I did.
I think that he wants to prove to Dallas that they messed up. And he even admitted some immaturities as well. He said on his part, he could have did things better. But I think that he has something to prove in these finals. So I'm gonna go Kristaps Porzingis. But there's a lot of guys you can name in this one. But I'm gonna go Kristaps because I do think that he's gonna affect the game more so than a lot of other people.
Okay, I'll go next. I think Derek Lively has to be the guy for Dallas. 14 for 14, I believe, in this past series. And the one game they lost, he was out, and not just because of his offense, but he's a nice rim protector as well. He held Ant from driving a lot. So I think for Dallas, it's him. For Boston, I think it's Derek White. Derek White averaged 15 this year. He's been crucial. He hit a clutch shot against Indiana. I think those two guys can change a lot in this series. I think with Porzingis, he's a huge X factor, that's for sure. But I think like a sleeper, a guy that we aren't talking about, I think it's like Derek White for Boston. I think if he has a night where he gets 22, 23 points, they're definitely going to win that type of game. Dallas
Well,
can't afford for him to go.
yeah, I'm going with Drew Holiday, man. I think defense is gonna matter. They traded to get this guy for a reason. He got the big contract, so I think that the defense definitely matters. That Dallas, that Boston definitely has that defensive presence. We know about Jalen Brown, but Drew Holiday, he doesn't. I don't know. I feel like he hasn't been talked about throughout the playoffs. Um, and then for the Mavericks, I'm going with Derek Jones Jr., man. He's proved that he's more than just a guy that could just be on a highlight reel, because that was he was known for when he in his days in Miami. That's what he was known for. And you look at the entire playoffs, he has guarded the best players on that team. He's guarded from the first round when he okay, we're not going to say Paul George is better than Kawhi. Maybe some people think that, but he guarded Paul George in the first round, and then in the following round he guarded SGA. Then the in the series that just happened, he guarded Anthony Edwards. So I think he's a sleeper, good in the offensive end. So I think that's the guy that those are the two guys that people gotta definitely gotta pay attention to, man. So I'm going with those guys. And
Yeah,
then
I think it's gonna take a team effort no matter what team wins. It's gonna take the entire team to come through.
okay, so in this series, man, is home court gonna matter at all?
Yes. Yes. I mean, we're gonna do a prediction in a second, but you'll see why I said yes. Because I could elaborate more, but I do think that home court is gonna play a huge factor in this series.
I actually disagree. I don't think it's gonna matter. But I think I would have the same winner in the same amount of games, regardless. Boston struggle that has home court. Obviously, they've struggled a little bit at home. Meanwhile, Dallas has been good on the road. So that to me does not. That to me means it doesn't matter too much, at least thus far. So I actually don't think it'll matter that much in this series. I really don't.
Hmm. Yeah, they both been. It's tough for me to say because Boston has not been challenged at all in the Eastern Conference. I always thought the East Conference was weak. And then you look at what Dallas has done, man. They've won on the road countless of times throughout the playoffs. So I would say it is going to matter, but it won't matter. But when it comes to the NBA Finals, I do think it will
Oh,
matter, though,
did he
in the NBA.
freeze or did I freeze or
Oh, did you hear
okay,
me?
you good. Go ahead.
No, I said
Yeah, you good.
when it comes to the NBA finals, I do think it will matter though. All right, man. So we're gonna go. We're not gonna break down everything. We're gonna say that for the MBS show, which will be on this Wednesday. So we'll be breaking down everything for the NBA finals. We're gonna get straight to it, man. Who's winning it? How many games you have? And who's gonna be your finals MVP?
All right, all right. So before the season started, I had the Boston Celtics winning the championship over the Denver Nuggets. That was before the season. Once the playoffs started, I stuck with my prediction. Obviously, Denver never made it here. Thought Boston was just too loaded, and then had a very easy way to the finals. I didn't think they would have it that easy, but they had a very easy route until the finals, only losing 2 games. I think after 4 games, I think we'll have a 2-2 series. I do. I think it's gonna be 2-2 after 4 games. I do actually think both teams will win on their other team's home court in the first 4 games. But after that, I think Boston goes to 7 games with the Mavs and wins it in 7 games in a classic series. I think it's gonna be phenomenal. And I'll even tell y'all, I'm actually rooting for Dallas to win the whole thing. I'm a big Kyrie and Luka Doncic fan. Shout out to Ivan Antonio. Actually bought me a Luka Doncic jersey when he came to Louisiana. But I am rooting for the Mavs. But I have to be honest with what I see. I just think Boston has too many weapons. They don't have to even Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum don't even have to guard Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. They will get some go on them, but for the most part, I think that they have the luxury of putting Derek White and Drew Holiday on Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. I just think, as far as from a depth perspective, I like Boston little bit more. I feel like to get to these finals, it was a little bit more easier. I should say a little bit. It was a lot easier, and ultimately home court. They're gonna have Game 7 at home, so I'm gonna go with Boston in 7.
Okay. I have no problem with that prediction. I could definitely see that happening. I also had Boston winning the title in the preseason, but I feel like in these playoffs, I don't know who Boston is. And it's not entirely their fault. They don't control these injuries on these other teams. And I feel like they haven't been challenged at all. And I don't know if at times they haven't taken these teams serious because of that, but they've had some slip ups and uh, uh, opportunities to let the game slip away. too many times. So I don't know who Boston is. And I know who Dallas is. And I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks in 6 games. I agree. Four, I think it's going to be 2-2. Teams are going to split home and road games after four. The fifth game, I think, in Boston will be the best game of the series. Dallas will steal it, and then Dallas will win on their home court in game 6. Um, I agree. Boston's way deeper, but I don't know how much it matters in the finals. It matters in the season for sure, but I don't know how much it matters in the finals. The way I look at it is Gafford and Lively and all those big men for Dallas, I think are going to give Boston issues because Tatum and Brown like to drive in, and they're great rim protectors. But I also think Porzingis is going to have a big series because of that as well, because they're going to kick it out to him a bunch. Um, I just trust Doncic and Kyrie more in a close game to close it out. Like if it's 88-88 with 2 minutes to go, I feel more confident in Dallas. And I think Doncic 5 years from now is going to be the best player out of all these players in this series. And I'm going to have to go with the best player in this series. I think Kyrie is the second best closer in this series. I just trust Dallas in bigger moments here. And I think there's going to be a lot of big moments here. Kind of feel bad for Boston because they've been so close and they keep knocking on the door. And I like Tatum, and they're right there. But I just think that they're running into a too hot of a Dallas team. I'm going to go with the Mavs in 6.
Okay. I just real quick before
All
you go,
right.
Keo, I
Okay.
think that Doncic is the best player right now out of the people that's playing. But I would disagree on one thing. I think Kyrie Irving is the best closer of the all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both those statements. Yeah.
Well, Jason Tatum will have something to say about that coming up. Um, Everybody knows that's my favorite player in the NBA right now. So as far as this series goes, man, I feel like the home court is gonna matter. I think Boston got the home court. I think Boston will take the first two at home, and I think it will apply pressure on Dallas. And I think Boston will jump up early in this game. Um, Kyrie hasn't been there in a while. I can't remember the last time he was in the final. What, 2016? Was it 2016? I think it was. And then as far as Luca, I think this is his first time there. Last time Jalen Brown um and Tatum was there in 2022 when they lost to the Warriors, which was a young team. I think they are determined to win this title because they knew this year it was championship or bust. I think a lot of pressure has been on them, and they have proved a lot of people wrong. They have ran through the NBA in the regular season. They ran through the entire Eastern Conference like I thought they would. And this is a series where I think they will be favored. I expect them to win. And I'm going with the Boston Celtics in 6 games in this one. I got Jason Tatum as my MVP. I think a lot of people has been questioning what Tatum can do, and I think he's gonna leave a mark on this series and let people know that he is one of the best players in the NBA. And I'm going with the Celtics in 6, and the Celtics finally get a title with Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown.
Okay, I didn't say that. I got Jason Tatum winning the Finals MVP as well. He won
Uh,
the best stat line. Luka Doncic have the best stat lines, but Tatum will win the MVP because they'll win the championship.
I've got Luca MVP.
All right, so I'm actually gonna put some graphics out for this before the NBA final starts, and we'll have everybody's predictions, so nobody could be saying, "Hey, I said this, I said that."
You like to do that. You like to throw me under the bus. So why?